Thank you for watching us on YouTube. But did you know that if you're on the go, you can get the full show as a podcast now? You can get our morning breakdown of the most important topics facing our country, news not being covered by the mainstream media, interviews with change-making progressives, and info on what you can actually do about all this. Search for The Damage Report on your favorite podcast app and subscribe so you know when new episodes are ready to go. Apparently now, paddling students will be a disciplinary policy at a Georgia charter school, and parents who don't consent have to agree to up to 5 days of suspension for their children instead. So you have paddling or 5 days of suspension at this charter school. So again, this is a school that you are paying for, at the very least if you live in that area. So let's talk about the specifics of how this is gonna play out. The Georgia School for Innovation and the Classics, yeah, I've always thought that paddling was a classic, sent parents a letter last week asking permission to hit children with a wooden paddle. Superintendent Jody Boulino says the kindergarten through 9th grade school has received a little more than 100 of the forms back, and a third of them give consent to use the paddle, which that should be national news by itself. But they're gonna be paddling these kids, by the way, up to 9th grade. You're talking about teenagers at that point, that these teachers or whatever will be taking and paddling on the butt. That bothers me for so many different reasons. What do you think?
One.
The perviness of it.
Okay, there's one.
I don't want you having any interest in the butts of kids, let alone 9th grade kids, and being able to skulk around the school trying to find some sort of infraction that will allow you to take this kid and paddle them.
We continue to put our trust in these. Teachers are just other people with whatever weird proclivities they have in life, whatever things they like to do, or anger problems, or disdain for certain children, or biases because of who certain kids are. All that goes into play, and they can make a decision to hit your child up to 3 times, I think it says.
Yes,
up to 3 times in one session.
Spanked on the buttocks in an office with closed doors and shouldn't be struck more than 3 times. So
with your hands on either a piece of furniture or on your knees. I want you to imagine your child bent over in front of some stranger, keep it real, while they paddle your child while you're somewhere at work or at home or whatever it is you have to do during your day, and you write a piece of paper that says, do that. You failed.
Insane.
You just failed.
Yeah, look, so I was talking before the show with Brett. Some of the biggest, longest arguments I've ever gotten into with my best friend were over corporal punishment. He comes from Alabama. He believes it's perfectly acceptable. It's a traditional thing. There's nothing wrong with it. I come from Connecticut. I was spanked once or twice as a kid, and I remember even as a kid thinking, this is kind of weird. Also not that bad. This really is not gonna change my behavior, but this was like East Coast, northern East Coast spanking. This wasn't paddling or anything like that. I think of it as using the threat or the actuality of violence to change someone's behavior, which there's no area of society except for, I guess, capital punishment for prisoners where we allow that, except amongst kids who have the least ability to understand what's happening to them and to do anything about it. We say in that case, with the most vulnerable people in society, yes, you can hit them if you don't like what they're doing. Nowhere else. If I do something that Cenk doesn't like, Cenk can't hit me. Even though I'm bigger, I could theoretically defend myself. I'm a full-grown adult. I can sort of put it in context with the rest of my life. Kids can't do that. They can be hit though. And now they can be hit in charter schools.
Yeah, at what point does it not transfer over to the kid thinking, hey, the way to solve problems is to hit? Now, if that happens, then are you upset about it? Are you going, hey, I can't believe, little Billy over there keeps hitting people? Maybe because he keeps getting hit. I can't believe Billy has anger problems. Maybe because he's being hit and he doesn't know how else to let it out. Because when you get hit, you know what you want to do? You want to respond.
Especially some of these kids will be paddled for the rule violation of hitting people. There's some delicious irony for them. I guess that's another one of those classics they'll be dealing with. And I understand that people disagree with this. There's a huge disagreement across our country. Many people will not like my position. Feel free. Look, I like constructive criticism. Go on iTunes, leave a 5-star rating and a review saying I love John, I love The Damage Report, but I disagree with him on corporal punishment. So feel free to go do that and I will see that.
Yeah.
But people do disagree, but we talk constantly about whether kids should be able to indoctrinate kids into certain ideologies. This is definitely a component of an ideology, the use of violence to control behavior. And now we're saying, you know what? More schools should be doing it.
I was somewhat regularly spanked growing up. Like the thing is that I was an angel child, so it didn't happen that much. But if I was a bad kid, it would happen all the time because that was just a normalcy in my house. But me being the perfect child that I was, it didn't happen that much. But in reality, once you have the fear of that happening, there's no the next time you want to do something, you don't go, I got spanked last time. What you think is, oh, even if you make a mistake, because what it turns into from the parental point of view is frustration, anger about what happened. If a kid accidentally drops and breaks a plate, I'm like, oh, I can't believe you broke that plate. It's an automatic motion because that's what just happened.
Yeah.
So should the kid not becomes afraid of doing normal things like having wet hands and breaking a plate, butterfingers, you know?
So it causes anxiety rather than rational shifts in behavior.
And then the argument you'll get from a lot of people, and I've heard this is, hey, I got spanked, I turned out fine. Hey, you guys, I got spanked and I turned out fine. A lot of people got spanked and did not turn out fine. So that's not, you didn't turn out fine because you were spanked. You turned out fine despite being spanked.
Yeah.
Just saying.
And any one individual could have turned out finer, possibly. Just because you're not going on homicidal killing sprees doesn't mean you don't have some weird anxieties and things about authority that you don't understand. I got spanked and I turned out this way. So, take that.
And number two, how many people turned out fine after being spanked by someone else and their parents said, hey, I'm gonna give them permission? How much of a betrayal does that kid feel from his parents?
Yeah.
If your parents spank you, you're like, Mom.
I would ask you this one question. How confident are you that every individual at this school and at future schools who will do it will be doing it for the right reasons, under the right conditions, and won't have any sort of weird motivations for what they're doing? Are you confident about that in all cases? Because if you're not, what we are saying is in 5 years, I will come back and I will do a story about some weird sexual assault situation involving kids. And we started down that path with allowing these sorts of situations to happen. Thank you very much for watching this clip from The Damage Report. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and ring the bell on YouTube to get notified of our new videos. And catch The Damage Report every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on TYT Network on YouTube TV.